So if I think about my development on the kit over the years, say specifically the first 15 years that I played the drums, I think about it in terms of blocks, these sort of like 3 to 5 year blocks where I focused on key players that had a massive influence and were a big inspiration to me and my playing essentially. Players that still are firmly embedded in the way that I come across on the kit, which I love. So if I look at the first 5 years, there's 5 guys in particular that really stood out to me that I really gravitated to musically and in terms of the drumming as well. So the first one is John Otto from Limp Bizkit. The second one is Brad Wilk from Rage Against the Machine. The third one is David Silvera from Korn. The fourth one is Abe Cunningham from Deftones. And then the fifth one is Jose from Incubus. Now, I will add at this point, there's actually a year one that I don't really talk about. It's sort of that first year when you're getting into your instrument and into music in general. Don't judge me. I spent, a really good portion of my teens playing along to all of their music and learning as much as I could about their playing. And the reason why I talk about that is because, first of all, there's a dialogue online about whether drum covers are good or not, right? So I think from the older community, drum covers are sort of looked at as a bad thing. I'm not sure why, probably because there's just some sort of pretension behind the whole thing, playing someone else's music and putting it up online and all that whole thing. But the reality is that every drummer, old generation, new generation, developed via playing other people's music. The difference is that now, this new generation, they all have cameras in their pockets so they can film it. And I tell you what, I would have done exactly the same thing in those first 5 or 10 years. If smartphones or HD cameras and YouTube and all that was as readily available as it is now, because it wasn't even around when I was a teenager, I would absolutely be putting drum covers online, because all I did every single day was play along to music. So I did drum covers, but I just didn't have a way to promote it online, right? And the reason why I'm talking about this is because how imperative it is learning other people's music as a part of your growth. The biggest growth that you can have as a player is by immersing yourself and absorbing as much of someone's style and their music as you possibly can. I've gone through these growth periods with all of my biggest influences where I really absorbed their feel and their style to the point where I couldn't even hear them on the recordings anymore because I was playing along so on what they were doing. That was always my goal. Play as tight to the track as possible so I can't hear the original drums. But then you get to a point where you've learned it all, and once you've sort of absorbed those powers, that you move on to your next phase, right? So I would call that my next 5-year block, where I moved on to players like Carter Beauford from the Dave Matthews Band, Danny Carey from Tool, Morgan Rose from Seven Dust, Steve Smith, he was playing in a band called Vital Information or Vital Tectones with Victor Wooten, Jeff Campitelli, who played with Steve Vai and Joe Satriani in that sort of that shredder world as well. But I've never moved away from those first 5 drummers. Taking the time to learn someone's style from a very detail-orientated perspective is super important, okay? So the one thing that I'd say with drum covers is that if you're going to do it, learn the details. I teach a student named Daniel, and I've been teaching Daniel for 18 months now, and this kid is amazing. I got him at 15 years old. I've been teaching him every 2 weeks. He's got really good facility. His hands are flying, but lately we've been really leaning into songs. And the one thing that I had to pull him up on was the fact that he was just sort of learning songs partially initially. When you don't learn the details, you're not really getting much from it. Learning the details means you have to sit there with your headphones on and you have to listen and you have to understand where that accent is, where that splash placement is, where that hi-hat lift is. But hang on, that doesn't work for that hand. Oh, it must be that hand. And you've got to kind of troubleshoot through these things that open up new pathways and new ways of thinking and new mechanical approaches to the kit. The details is everything with covers. And so I really hammered that into Daniel, and one of his assignments recently was that he had to play along to Sting's If I Ever Lose My Faith in You, which is Vinny on the drums, and it's the most amazing pocket song in the world. And the assignment that I gave him this week was to learn Pardon Me by Incubus. I chose Pardon Me because I love the contrast between the verse and the chorus. And this is about learning the details, right? It's like you've got this halftime chorus, which with the accents on the crashes are really, really well placed for the songwriting. And the feel of that chorus is awesome. But the contrast is the verse is in double time in this almost sort of drum and bass vibe. What I like about that section too is the ghosting, his use of accents, his dynamic control. It's just got a lot going on that if you learn the details, if you dial into those details, you can benefit a lot from it. It's also really, really cool because it's quite risky in terms of what Jose put over top, and it works fantastically, but it also sort of shows that it's worth taking risks, you know, it's worth sort of going against the grain. But the whole idea is that he spends the time to respectfully learn the details of what Jose offers. So I've asked him to learn that song, and then it just made me think maybe it might be worth going over these sections here in this video now and just sort of showing the benefit of learning those sections. And yeah, even to this day, even like I've been playing 27 years now, and I probably learned that song when I was 15 on the drums. 41 now, so what's that? 16? Yeah, 26 years ago. So 25... probably 24 to 25 years ago, I learned that song, and it's still, Jose is still firmly embedded in my style. So covers are great as long as you learn the details. Get specific, get obsessed, and then cut the head off, move on. Make sure that you honor the parts that were written so that you have the benefit of learning what that song has to offer and what that drummer has to offer. And then you're accessing new mechanics and new tools in your arsenal that you can bring into your own playing as well. Because at the end of the day, like everyone, like you, John Theodore, Danny Carey, doesn't matter who it is, all we are is a product of our influences. But the idea is that you take that influence, bring them into your own playing, and then make them your own. All right, let's leave it there. I'm going to get on the kit and I'm going to go over those sections. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a little bit different, something a little bit more informative. If you dig what I'm doing, head over to masterminddrummer.com. Otherwise, just let me know your thoughts on this below and I'll hit you back. Let's get into it. Cheers.
Decade ago, I never thought I would be at 23 on the verge of spontaneous combustion. Woe is me, but I guess that it comes with the territory, an ominous landscape of never-ending calamity. I need you to hear, I need you to see, but I am man, I can take an exploding, like an evident possibility. Tell me, so pardon me while I burst into I've had enough of the world and its people's mindless games. So pardon me while I burn and rise above the flame. Pardon me, I'll never be the same. Now 2 days ago, I was having a look in a book and I saw a picture of a guy right up above his knee. I said I can relate, cause lately I've been thinking of combustication as a welcome vacation from the burdens of the planet Earth. Like gravity, hypocrisy, and the perils of